from the News Channel 5 network and the Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development. This is State of the Workforce.
Hi everyone, and welcome to State of the Workforce. I'm Chris Cannon. Today we are discussing the next generation of Tennessee's workforce. We'll talk about a new and meaningful way to reach young people with a message about skilled careers, and later a cooking apprenticeship. But first, the Forever Family Initiative. Commissioner Denise Thomas recently had the opportunity to talk with teens who are aging out of the foster care system. A new program called Forever Family is placing these teens on a pathway to apprenticeship opportunities and good-paying jobs. Forever Family is a partnership between the department, the TVA, and the North American Building Trades Union. The goal of Forever Family is to coordinate services for the teens to make their transition from foster care to the workforce as smooth and successful as possible. Those teens joined Commissioner Thomas and others on stage at a signing event in Nashville. And now on to today's Workforce Focus, finding a new and innovative way to promote skilled trades to the young people across our area. Michael P. Davidson represents the Skilled Careers Coalition, an organization that is changing the way we reach young people. And Michael, let's start by peeling back those layers and going over what the coalition's actual mission is.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Chris, and thank you all that you all are doing in the space. It's really important. Just a quick note on the coalition. So we connect, we inspire, we convert young people into this space. But by doing that, we're connecting all kinds of different partners in the coalition. We got small business, large business, youth and families, educators, nonprofits, even government. And so it's a platform that brings in all those who care so much about this. And we've been able to be pretty successful at reaching young people, inspiring them, well over 15 million at this point. But to your question of what's been the issue to date, it's kind of been a stacking of a number of problems on top of each other just over time, but there's still hope. So some of the stacking of problems, I think you have decades of, in a way, stigmatizing the trades, as sort of a byproduct to push people into college. Decades, literally decades, to sort of push people into four-year colleges. You're seeing now too, another part of the challenge is a big tsunami wave, or senior tsunami is what they call it. I think about 10,000 people over 55 are retiring a day. Wow. And so you have a big issue with that here in Tennessee. About, I think, a quarter of the state is over 55 and almost a third of the state is under 30. And so we need people to go into those careers, buy those businesses, do those jobs. You have some underinvestment in CTE, some other investment in businesses looking at developing talent pipelines and reaching young people. So it's been a multi-pronged challenge, but fortunately, in spite of all that, the stigma is not paralyzing, and there's still a lot of hope and interest in getting involved in skilled careers.
And there's always, multiple pathways in colleges, one of them for many people, but not for everybody. This generation, though, is kind of unique. They seem to be a generation of fixers and creators, and they are. And that's changing the course a little bit here.
It is. And I think there's a lot of fear that a lot of these kids are just going to be playing video games and being on social media all the time. But we're seeing that actually they have a strong desire for meaning. They have a strong desire to contribute to their communities. They also like to get out and build things with their own two hands. And that creates a level of belief and a pathway to make a big difference. So when you got a third of the state is about a third of the state being under 30, and they want to build and they want to contribute, let's give them the pathway, let's give them the tools.
Do you think a lot of this is a financial decision for these young people? Because, you can go to college and rack up that debt, or you can go be an apprentice or learn a skilled trade. Yeah. And graduate, no. So do you think a lot of them or some of them are making that a financial decision?
A lot of them are. This generation grew up at a time sort of in the back of the Great Recession. They're growing up in a time with some economic instability. And so they're definitely looking for a firmer, more stable income. But they're also looking for a pathway to get there faster, because they've also been hearing about college debt loads and it taking time to sort of make it whole as you're raising a life and raising a family. So the economic and financial concerns are real, but I also do want to emphasize that there are people who live with purpose, and they want to contribute to those around them. So it's both the meaning of the work and being able to see and be part of something greater than yourself, but it is also an efficient path to something stable.
And something that's interesting about the coalition is you get the big picture, the entire nation, but you can also narrow down to the state. What are things like in Tennessee?
I think Tennessee is a trailblazer. It's a real pioneer in the space. Everywhere across the country, you're seeing a considerable amount of, how you put it, maybe the demand is much greater than the supply. So everybody is wrestling with that, but few are hitting it from different angles. And so in Tennessee, you have Tennessee Works, you have apprenticeships, you have Tennessee Promise, the Youth Employment Program, American Job Center. So Tennessee is really trying to hit it from a lot of different angles and really reaching into those communities. And the fact that we're even having this conversation is quite a bit ahead of the curve. Usually, I think a number of states will kind of start with big business or big government levers, and you kind of forget your target audience, which is all these young people you're trying to get up into these careers. And so the fact that we're having this conversation, and then all that you and Governor Lee, Commissioner Thomas, and a number of leaders in the state have been doing is really, really ahead of the curve.
And we talked about how this is for generations. It's really kind of been just downplayed. A new study shows it's not particularly the young people who aren't interested in the jobs, it's what they're hearing about these jobs that's changing the conversation in their mind.
Big time. It's most important that I think they hear from each other. And so we have to amplify those voices of young people for people. But also, Harris just came out with a poll, and I think it said 80% of parents recognize that this is a viable and important path, but they don't advocate for it.
Yeah, and that's something Commissioner Thomas always says. The chief guidance counselor is the parent.
Exactly.
So if the parent is saying, go to college, go to college, go to college, they're never thinking about the other pathways.
Exactly. So I think the more that you show them that this is as compelling of a pathway as any other, any family, I have 4 kids, and I want my kids to have the best possible life, and I'm going to show them any path that they could have, and this is included in that.
Tell me a little bit about the strides you're making, or the coalition is making towards getting that message out, and is it moving the needle at all?
It's absolutely moving the needle. I could tell you anecdotally, seeing these young people put on their own shows, promote their own businesses. Even here in Tennessee, I had an issue at my home, and we had a contractor come over to check out the place, and as he gets out of his truck, he's walking up with his 3-year-old son, and he goes, I hope you don't mind if my son joins me as my apprentice. And I said, no, absolutely, bring him in. And so he's there, that he was showing me some social media videos that he uses to promote his business, but then he said, this is also because I don't want my son to be loaded with college debt. Yeah. I'd love for him to be part of this business with me. And so you're seeing entrepreneurial leaders do that, bring their family into it, reach young people, but also just elevate the voices any which way they can.
Well, that's a great thing to do there. We appreciate it. Thanks so much for giving us the overview of what the coalition's doing. The Skilled Careers Coalition brought in some heavy hitters, though, to help spread that message. He's not moving a bus anymore, but he's hoping to move teens to think about a skilled career. See how Ty Pennington is getting into the Skills Jam next on State of the Workforce. Reaching young people with a message is not always easy. The best way is meeting them where they are and then catching their interest. JJ Owen is with the Skilled Careers Coalition, and he joins us live now. And JJ, kind of go over in your experience why it's so difficult or challenging, I would say, to meet this generation where they are.
Hey, Chris, thanks for having me. Difficult? I don't know that I would say difficult. I would probably say different, right? What we know about Gen Z and Gen Alpha is, they're looking for authenticity. They're looking for purpose. And, in terms of places and spaces that they're showing up, they're online, right? So I wouldn't say difficult, but it does require a change in how we're reaching them, right? The top-down messaging of old is just not going to work anymore in terms of reaching them. So we have to come meet them in the places and spaces where they're at, right? So, if I was a fishing boat captain, I wouldn't just want to drop a line in the water and hope and pray, right? You want to take the boat to where the fish are, right? And in this case, to close the labor gap and get youth engaged, we have to go to where they're at, which is online. It's on social media. It's on YouTube. It's on TikTok. It's in the virtual worlds that they're building with like Minecraft and Roblox. So yeah, I'd say different, not necessarily difficult, but you get what I'm saying.
And the digital aspect of it, you could really target who you want to reach and make sure you're getting that message to the person you want to get it to. But what is that message? What are you telling them once you do get their attention?
Good question. Yeah, the message is that the skilled trades are a launch pad for an incredible career. It's a high paying career. It's a high purpose career, right? And with that message, that's fundamental to why we started Skills Jam as our flagship initiative within the Skilled Careers Coalition. Skills Jam is by youth, for youth, meant to engage young people where they're at and inspire some career exploration. You know, Chris, I don't think any of us ever fully figure out what we want to be when we grow up, right? We are always going on that journey, but from a very young age, you start redlining things off your list. You start crossing off things that you just know doesn't work for you. And my goal, and our goal collectively as a coalition, is that through Skills Jam, we're causing pause in that young person's mind. We're making sure that just because they hear mom or dad cuss every time they have to call a plumber or an electrician doesn't mean that it's a bad job, right? It's actually a great job. So
a well-paying job.
That's our goal.
You can really pay well when you need to call that plumber. It's going to cost you. We talk about skilled careers, though, and we think about construction or plumbing or heating and air conditioning, but it's really anything you're doing with your hands. So that really can go to, you know, engineers and things like that, people who are doing work with their hands. Is that a change in the message there?
I'd say, you know, there's basically the message that we're trying to deliver is there's a wide array of trades out there. There's a wide array of abilities and skills needed to, you know, keep this world going. You know, look at Bridgestone Arena, for example, right, where the Preds play or where incredible concerts are happening. Not only was skilled trades needed to build that bad boy, but then, you know, when the concert comes to town and that diesel rig is pulling in to you know, pull out all the set stuff and the lighting, you know, there's a diesel service tech who's worked on that truck. There's welders who have built that rigging. Somewhere in that arena, there's a team of electricians that are making sure the video boards and lights are working and the audio is working. And then you got someone in a mixing booth making sure all the visual displays are out there, right? Those are all powered by skilled trades and skilled careers, right? And people who know how to make things happen with their hands, right? And it's not just Bridgestone, right? You could look at Oval City, you know, Blue Oval City with Ford, right? Someone's got to build that infrastructure and someone's got to maintain it and all the homes that go around it, right? So I think that's the story that we want to share, especially early on through the work with Skills Jam, is that there's a whole host of opportunities out there to leverage, you know, the passion drivers for these young people, right? There's a lot of skills out there where you can, you know, turn into a viable career.
And you have to break through that clutter online and in social media. And to do that, you brought in a heavy hitter, Ty Pennington. He represents the Skills Jam. We're going to take a listen to something he had to say online, and then we'll talk about this after he's done talking there.
Sorry, guys. Not to be cliche, but clearly this is my jam. You got the sound of saws, the sound of nail guns, the smell of sawdust in the air. This is my home away from home.
And JJ, how important is it to get somebody who has some name recognition in there to break through that clutter to get that message out?
Oh, it's awesome to have someone like Ty in the mix with us, right? When we talk about Skills Jam, it's by youth, for youth, right? And so we want to show young people who are watching Skills Jam on YouTube or TikTok, you know, what a peer of theirs might be doing. But also it's as important to facilitate that mentorship component. And that's where Ty is an absolute rock star. He's knowledge transfer in action, right? He has this self-deprecating sense of humor, but also a deep, deep experience that he gets to come in and work with a young person on screen. And that's where the relatability happens. And that's where he's been invaluable for us as a partner, because Skills Jam it's not just about by youth, for youth. It's also about knowledge translation and building that intergenerational connection, right? And facilitating the connection there between the 5 skilled pros that are leaving, you know, as part of the silver tsunami and the one newbie that's coming into the mix. So Ty's been really great for that to visualize and share our story. And
that video there was from the Skills USA. They held their big conference, I guess, back in Atlanta back in June. And how important is that, the camaraderie of everybody getting together, the competitions, things like that, to changing the narrative about these types of careers?
Oh, it's incredible, right? And, you know, I think the message there is that your skills can take you anywhere, right? And it starts in high school. And we have incredible partners that are, career and technical student organizations that are part of the Skilled Careers Coalition, and Skills USA is one of our best and brightest. They are effectively one of the largest, if not the largest, student organization in the U.S. They've got 450,000 members across the states. I believe over 4,000 alone in Tennessee. And for those that are not familiar, Skills USA is it's a platform that develops the human as much as the skills. And it also gives a competition structure for young people to come in and compete at a local, state, and the national level, which the
it's
national
a great program. Yeah, well, it's really an important program too. JJ, we appreciate you filling in the blanks for us here and getting the message out. Thanks so much.
Appreciate you, Chris.
Have a good day. Well, we're switching gears from construction to cooking next on State of the Workforce. The Sow Project is getting young people in Memphis to train in the kitchen through apprenticeships. We'll talk about how that's going. Stay with us. We'll be right back. The hospitality industry is a key economic driver here in Tennessee, but finding its workforce always isn't that easy. A group in Memphis is working to pique the interest of a new generation in the culinary arts. Ben Vaughn joins us from Atlanta, and he's with the Sow Project, and he's going to tell us more about this. And first, let's talk about this project, and just it's such a big initiative with some big names. What's the purpose and mission behind it?
Thanks for having me. The initiative was I have a 35-year career in culinary, and I was deeply tired of complaining over the same things. I wasn't willing to take a step and make the changes. And my wife and I brainstormed the Sow Project. It's an initiative of the Center of Culinary Cultivation, and what we thought was, why not use my skills and ability in networking and offer a free culinary program to the underemployed and individuals who are looking for an education but maybe didn't know they were, or maybe they can't afford one. And this free culinary program takes kind of a holistic approach at culinary arts. It's a 10-month program. We take just about anyone. There was this romantic idea that it would be everybody from 18 to 24, and you know what? It's even better now because there are no boundaries as who can enter our program. We offer everything from the very beginning steps in culinary arts all the way to the job placement and everything you need to know in between. Our curriculum is founded specifically on things that I have learned, and we take the frill out of all of that and really make those skills to be practical so that the employer has a job-ready employee from day one.
And apprenticeships are a big part of the Sow Project. Why did you feel it was so important to work with the Department of Labor and Workforce Development to become a registered program there in Memphis?
You know, I thought that I love the apprenticeship program, and I'd heard about it in other states. And when I heard about it in relation to Tennessee, we started it, and we had no idea. We had no idea how we would, one, afford how to do it, and two, where that pipeline came. You know, with a lot of prayer and a lot of prayers answered, people just started showing up. And then I learned about the apprenticeship program through Roderick Woody in Memphis. And it was like, wow, you have a program like what we're trying to accomplish. A lot of second career individuals and trade school individuals, they really need to make a living while they're in class or they're working numerous jobs. And I thought, this is an opportunity for us. It fits in the box for apprenticeships, and it also allows these students to make a little bit of money while they're doing this, while they're learning, and then go out there and practice exactly what they've learned in class in the real world. So it all kind of it works together so beautifully. We couldn't have written it better ourselves.
And second chance employment, apprenticeships are a big initiative for the department, but so is second chance employment. How does the Sow Project view justice-involved individuals who are looking for that second chance?
As somebody who's, I have had so many bumps in the road in my career, and as somebody who's been sober for over a decade, and I have the culinary director who has been sober for 12 years. We deeply believe that second chances are important. I live today based on second chances, and we're not a judge or jury. We do vet our students to make sure that our staff and our other students are always in a safe environment. However, if they're willing to work really hard and put their best foot forward every day, there's no reason why they don't deserve an equal shake at that same chance.
We have just a minute or so left, and no matter how good a program is or how much somebody can learn, life still happens, and there's cost associated with going to work and doing things. Does the Sow Project offer what we call wraparound services to help take those barriers down so they can succeed at the program?
Yeah, we do. The Sow Project offers the wraparound services because we're really deeply committed to creating a whole human. That experience that we can teach someone how to cut vegetables and fruit, and we can send them on their way. However, with the 100% job placement guarantee, the wraparound services that are of no extra expense to the student, we see that some of our counselors are able to guide those students into different things to help, whether it be financial resources or even mental health care. There are so many things that we identify in that 10-month period that creates that whole human experience.
We have just a few seconds left here. Great success there in Memphis, but this project is really across the Southeast. What's next? What are the mission's goals moving forward?
Moving forward is we love the great state of Tennessee. We are all about Tennessee. That is our pilot, our launching pad. When we've perfected that, we are working currently on Atlanta, Georgia, and Miami, Florida, and those are areas that we see a similar need. If the need is there and we have the resources to help fill that, that's kind of what we're charged to do.
Well, it's a remarkable program. We appreciate you for coming up with it and making it a reality for folks here in the volunteer state. Ben, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And if you want to learn more about the Sow Project, you can just Google that online and you'll get a great website with all the information. And that is the state of Tennessee's workforce. We appreciate you spending some time with us today. You can learn more about the department's programs available to Tennesseans at tnworkready.com. And of course, you can find us on social media. We'll see you next time on State of the Workforce.